Hi, thanks for joining me. Hot Mom's Dinner Club, bin 12. We're rolling right along. Today I've got 4 more meals for you. I've got 4 meals that are kind of interesting in their concepts, but they use so many of the same ingredients throughout each meal throughout this bin, but yet they're very different meals. So you're not going to think that you were having the same thing, although we're using a lot of the same ingredients. First of all, we're going to start off with a Polish sausage and cabbage, okay? So we're going to cook the Polish sausage and cabbage on top of the stove with a lot of different vegetables. Very similar to that rustic Polish sausage bake that we did in bin 3. But this one's just going to be cooked entirely on top of the stove. It's also, like I said, we're going to be using the fresh cabbage instead of the sauerkraut. In that bake, we used a half can of sauerkraut. So this one, I'm going to be serving it with some rustic bread, any sort of a dark rye, pumpernickel, or this is just a whole wheat baguette would go nicely with this dish. We're also going to be using a Italian loaf bread later on for the Alfredo and for the grilled cheese for meal 3. So if you just want to use the same loaf of bread, you could probably get by with buying just one loaf if you don't want to purchase a separate loaf for this. We're also going to serve this meal with a salad. We're going to serve the same salad again for meal 2, which is going to be a sausage Alfredo. We're going to use a ½ pound of ground sausage. We're going to turn it into a creamy pasta. Like I said, that we're going to serve with garlic bread and salad as well. And then we're going to, for meal 3, make soup with the other portion of that ground sausage. So we're going to take the other half of that ground sausage. We're also going to use some of our cabbage and some kale that we're using in meal 2 and 3. And we're going to make a sausage, lentil, and cabbage soup. So that's going to be a hearty sausage, cabbage, lentil soup served with a rustic grilled cheese sandwich. And then meal 4. Meal 4 is just going to be a simple, quick preparation. It's a grilled chicken with baked potatoes and lemon dill carrots. All right, we got work to do, so let's go. So for meal 1, I'm just going to start sauteing up all my vegetables. I've got basic Mirepoix here. I've got onion, celery, and carrots. I had some white and red onion both left over, so I just used my leftover onion, so you can see there's a little bit of both. This bin actually is going to call for a red onion, but if you ever have leftover, always use your leftover first, as long as it's not compromising the dish. So we've got here our basic Mirepoix. Again, I saved all the scraps so I can make homemade stock with those. I'll pop this all in the freezer until the next time I'm ready to make stock. From there, I'm going to make my sauce. I'm going to make my roux. And then I've got the homemade stock I made here a couple days ago. I'm going to use that. I'm going to add in my potatoes, my cabbage, my sausage. Just let that all simmer for a while. And I'll get my bread going and my salad. I'm going to start by sauteing my carrot, celery, and onion with some oil, salt, and pepper, and poultry seasoning. Polish sausage is working nicely. It's got the potatoes in it. I'm getting ready to add the cabbage and the actual Polish sausage itself. So I'm going to get the bread ready. I'm also going to make a little salad. We're going to do a spinach salad with some diced tomatoes on it, some shredded carrots, and cucumber. And this is the salad that we're going to serve for tonight's meal and for tomorrow night's meal as well. So my sauce is thickened up nicely. The potatoes are about halfway cooked. I'm going to add in the cabbage with the Polish sausage to get that stewing. The cabbage will really cook down once it gets simmering, so it looks like a lot, but it's not going to be when it's all said and done. Let's let that simmer on low for a bit. also got to whip up our salad. I've got the spinach. I've got some diced tomatoes here. I'm going to do cucumber and some shredded carrot. You can make 2 salads at once. You can make one large enough for both nights, or you can make one tonight and make another one tomorrow night. We got our bread coming out of the oven. And I finished off our Polish sausage dish. I threw in the Polish sausage and the cabbage. I put some celery seed in there and some dried parsley as well. And then finished simmering it until the potatoes were done. And the cabbage is just starting to cook through. You don't want to cook your cabbage too long. So here's meal 1, our Polish sausage and cabbage with the country wheat bread and our salad. Meal 1. Now we're going to start on meal 2. That is our pasta dish. We're going to start by cooking off the pasta. I've got our water boiling. It's been seasoned with oil, salt, and pepper. So we started our sausage pasta by cooking off the sausage, season it up with a little salt and pepper. Going to add in the rest of the chopped garlic. Just let that cook out a minute or 2. And then we're going to add in our sauce. You can do just a regular Alfredo sauce. I picked up some of this vodka sauce. I love this stuff. It's a little bit lighter than straight Alfredo sauce. Add that in. About 3/4 is what I'm going to start with. We can always add more later. First of all, you want to wash it really well and dry it out as well. So the stems are going to be pretty tough, so you're going to want to just kind of trim those off. That'll be garbage. You can save some of these pieces if you want. Just going to bring the kale back around. Just going to roll it up. I'm going to cut pieces like this. The kale is super nutritious for you as well, cooked or raw. I'm going to add our kale in and just let that simmer for a bit, and then I'll add in the rest of the ingredients and toss it with the pasta. We're also going to get our bread into toast. We've got some garlic bread going with this. So I'm going to add in the kale now. We'll let this all stew for a bit. I'm going to turn this down a little bit lower now. So our pasta is almost ready. We're going to get our bread going for that and our salad as well. You could either use the leftover bread from last night or your Italian loaf that we're going to be using for tomorrow night's grilled cheese. So however you want to do it, we'll get the bread in the oven, baking. All right, so we're finishing up our pasta here. The kale seemed to soak up a lot of the liquid. I've got tomatoes here in this recipe to kind of combat that. So we're going to see if when we add our tomatoes and our peas, if we get enough water out of that or not. And if not, I've got some water on hand just to add. I'm going to put in the cooked pasta, and we'll see if we need to add more sauce or not. Meanwhile, I popped the bread in the oven already. Nice pasta, al dente. Yep, and then we're going to need the rest of the sauce. There, that's much better. And then our Asiago cheese is going to go in at the end, and that'll thicken it up just the last little bit that it needs to be thickened. So here we have meal 2. This is our sausage pasta. We got two different breads here. You have the bread that we use for meal 1 or meal 3 that you can use for this meal. Or you can just buy one loaf of bread for all 3 meals. And then we have our salad here. Fresh spinach, shredded carrots, cucumber, tomato on the salad. The pasta, the sausage pasta, has the vodka sauce in it, kale, peas, tomatoes, and Asiago cheese. I used rotini pasta. You're welcome to use whatever kind of pasta you'd like. Next, we're going to get started on meal 3. This is our sausage, cabbage, and lentil soup that we're going to throw some kale in at the end, and we're going to serve it with a country-esque grilled cheese. Delicious. Here we have our plethora of ingredients we're going to throw into this soup. Again, we've got some red and white onion. I had that left over from the last. I've got celery. I've got carrots I'm going to kind of throw in at the end. The carrots, the cabbage, kind of closer to the end, and then the kale. I've got my lentils. I pre-soak these. You don't have to pre-soak your lentils, but if you do have time, you can pre-soak them. If not, it just takes a little bit longer for them to cook in the soup. Also, I'm going to season it up with some paprika, some chili flakes, and some garlic going in there as well in the saute. And I've got our homemade broth as well. And I'm probably going to add a little bit of water into the soup in addition to the homemade broth. I'm just going to start sauteing all this. I'm going to get the onion in, then the sausage, and then I'll start with the celery after that. So I added in our celery, our lentils, and our garlic. I'm going to season it up with my spices. I'm going to add the cabbage, the carrot, and the kale in toward the end. Just going to let this simmer for a bit. And we'll start making our grilled cheese sandwiches. Now we're going to make our grilled cheese for our soup. We have here the Asiago mixed with the cheddar and the Colby Jack cheese. So I mixed all those together. Got our bread sliced here. Save that for the homemade breadcrumbs. I slice it on a deep bias. So we got these grilled cheese nice and long. I'm going to lay it out on our pan here. We're going to bake these. Put these in the oven to bake. We'll wait about 5 minutes and then we'll probably combine the two pieces to make a sandwich. And then probably 5 more minutes and then we'll turn them over to brown both sides. So our soup's been simmering away for about 30 minutes now. I'm going to add in our kale. We added in the kale, we're going to add in our potatoes. Going to let all that go for about 5 minutes and then we'll add in our cabbage and our carrots. So we have our pot of sausage, cabbage, and lentil soup coming off the stove. Get some of that in the bowl. Our lentils are just cooked through and so are our potatoes in here. Remember, your cabbage won't take long. You just want to get those somewhat tender. And we're going to serve it with that country grilled cheese. And if you have some grated Parmesan, it'd be very nice on top of this soup. Now we're going to start on meal 4, our grilled chicken with our baked potatoes and lemon dill carrots. First thing we're going to do is get these baked potatoes in the oven. We've got oil, salt, and pepper to season them with. We're going to wrap them in the foil, get them on the sheet pan to bake. So we have our potatoes in the oven. We're going to start cooking off our chicken. I just put oil, salt, and pepper on here. I'm just going to brown it off. I'll just turn it over and finish it off in the oven. We've got our chicken brown in here. I've got our water on for the carrots. I'm going to start cutting our carrots up. So now we're going to make our lemon dill carrots. So we have our water here. It's at a rolling boil. And everybody say it with me. We heavily salted it. We're going to toss in our carrots here. All right. It's going to come back up to that rolling boil, and we're going to let them boil for about 1 minute, one whole minute, and then we're going to pull them down. And here I have some fresh squeezed lemon juice and some dried dill I mixed together. We're going to pull these carrots out. We're going to dump the water out. We're going to drop this in, and we're going to toss the carrots back in to coat them with this lemon juice and dill. And that's how we're going to get our lemon dill carrots, okay? So our carrots have been boiling here. We're going to remove them from the water. We're going to dump out this water. We're going to toss in our lemon juice and dill. Let that reduce for just a second. Add in our carrots. And about a tablespoon of butter. Just coat those quickly. These will be very nice and light and fresh after some of our heartier meals that we've had in this bin. So meal 4 is very light and refreshing. We just have a simple grilled chicken with a simple baked potato and some lemon dill carrots. So thanks for joining me today. Hot Mom's Dinner Club, Bin 12. Some of these meals may have made some of you think a little bit outside the box. But it just shows you that there's just so many different ingredients in the world that you can use in so many different ways. So we started our first meal. We did the Polish sausage and cabbage. And then we served that with a salad, fresh spinach, tomatoes, cucumber, shredded carrots. And then I used the whole wheat baguette for that meal. The next meal we did was the sausage and Asiago cheese pasta. I put kale in that with tomatoes and peas. Served that with a salad, very similar to the first meal salad. Also, we have garlic bread with that. Meal 3 we used the rest of that pound of sausage and we turned it into a sausage, lentil, and cabbage soup. And we served that with a country-esque grilled cheese sandwich. And then lastly, we did a very simple preparation. We just did a simple grilled chicken, baked potato, and then those lemon dill carrots. So the last meal is very light and refreshing compared to some of the heavier meals that we served throughout the rest of the bin. Thinking outside of the box. Bin 12, Hot Mom's Dinner Club.